Hi guys, Gilly Hunt here with the second in my set of step cards. The first one just had a single step just to show you how to get started, and now today I'm going to show you how to do a double step. And then if you tune in again on Saturday, you'll find a triple step card, which is beautifully complicated to look at, but now you've gone through the single and the double, you hopefully will not find it complicated to make. So for this one, we're going to use the A Good Man stamp set, and we're going to use these lovely papers. And these are from Follow Your Art, which is in the catalogue, in the annual section of the catalogue. Don't forget, everything you can buy today, if you go to gillyhunt.com, do your shopping, I'd be very grateful. I'm going to use just these two, which are actually very neutral papers from this set. The lovely thing about this set is that most of the papers have a neutral side, which is very pretty, and also quite a busy pattern side. So the great thing is you can make the choice and have neutrals or patterns. Okay, so here's how we get started. You're going to need a piece of Pool Party coloured card and a piece of So Saffron card, and here are our measurements. The Pool Party is cut 10 inches. These are all in inches, by the way. So it's 10 by 3.5, and you are going to score it from one end, it doesn't matter which end, at 2.5 and 5.5. So that's 2.5 and 5.5. Okay, and you're going to do the same with the So Saffron. You're going to cut this one 6.5 by 3. And you're going to score it at 2 and 4. Okay, and that's what we have here. So we have two identical pieces and one just a tiny bit longer, and two identical pieces and one quite a bit longer. Okay, and that's our main cards. And then we're going to look at these smaller sections at the top. So we've got our larger piece here, and then we have two identical pieces, and it's the top one of those two that we need. Okay, and we're going to put those facing us with the what I'm calling the tail away from us, away, 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 so that we can make sure we work on these two pieces. We don't want to get confused on this. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take those lovely papers and I'm going to cut a piece that comes just neatly on each. Okay, and we're going to then stamp using the stamps from the set, the text from the set. This has got some lovely pieces of text in, and we're going to stamp here, "You're the best" and "I grew up loved." Now, before I stick those on, or whilst I'm sticking them on, actually I'll start sticking them whilst we're chatting. What we're going to do is just show you a way, a simple way of getting these just a tiny bit smaller, rather than having to sort of measure and worry and fuss over quite exactly how we're going to do this. I'm going to show you a very nice, quick, simple way of working it out. Okay, just let me stick these both on, because what we want is both of these to look really nicely, neatly, with a nice little neat piece around the side. So we do know, because this was the original, if I bring the originals back in, that this was scored 2 and it was 3 inches wide. So this part is 2 by 3. And the easiest way to cut that is actually to cut a piece as if it was going to be 2. So we're going to line it up with the 2. Here's the 2 mark. So we're going to line it up with that 2, and then we're going to just take it 1, 2 of these little tiny segments back, which are actually 1/16 of an inch. So all I'm doing is just taking those 2 back and slicing. So I'm not thinking how big is it, I'm just thinking I'm going to take 2/18, no, they're 1/16, sorry, 2/16 of an inch away. So it's just 2 little marks. It's 1, 2 little marks, and we're going to do the same with the 3. So we're going to line it up with where 3 is, which is here, and we're going to pull it back by 2 little marks. So there's 1 and there's 2, and I'd already cut that. So that now means, because we've just taken those 2 off one side and 2 off the other, what will happen is that will fit beautifully in place. Okay, and we do the same with this one, except that of course this one we know has been scored at 2.5, so we know it's 2.5, and this one's 3.5. So we go to the 2.5 mark and pull it back, and we go to the 3.5 and pull it back. It's a great way of just getting a nice little 1/16 of an inch around the edge. Okay, so we've now got those ready, and what we're next going to do is we're going to put on our people. And I've decided for this particular one, although I absolutely adore colouring, I'm going to keep it really simple. And so I'm going to just simply keep them black on the very vanilla. It's very vanilla rather than white, so it's not quite so stark, and it goes very nicely with these muted shades. Now you'll notice that I'm only tear taping the bottom half of the image, because we must remember that whatever we do, we must only, do you remember last time when I tried to stick the lighthouse down? If we want it to stick up, we mustn't stick it down onto here, otherwise we'll bend him in half. So this half needs to remain nice and glue free. So there he is, and then we're going to pop the chap and his, where are we going to put him? About there. Okay, so we want him also to stick up. So there's our 2 chaps, and now what we're going to do is we're going to put them together. So I want to flick this over, and I want to flick this over, and I need to be very careful now, because I need to make sure that I've got the large sections at the bottom, so that, let me just hold it and show you, as this flicks up and over, it will come into the right place. So he goes down at the back, and we also need to double check that he will flick up. Okay, so all we need to do now is we need to stick this one to this one, and I'm going to use a little bit of glue, and we're going to glue on the back here. Okay, and that is going to stick in place here. So we've still got, watch carefully, when he flicks up he comes into place, and when he flicks up he comes into place. Okay, and we've just stuck down the back of this one. Okay, and now we need a little stopper. Do you remember on the first card we made with the single step we put a little anchor? Well, I've got a slightly different way of doing it this time. What I've done is I've made a little chock of, I don't know whether you can see that really clearly, there we go. This is actually 3 little tiny pieces of the card stuck one on top of the other with a little piece of tear tape in between each one. And then we're going to stick it onto the back of our label. And we've cut it just a tiny bit smaller. There's no particular size to that, but we want it a little bit smaller, because what we want is when this is stuck down, we don't really want to see what's underneath it. It just needs to look like a little shadow. So we're now going to stick this bit. We could do it with tear tape, or I could just have a little bit of glue, as I've got glue in my hand. And we're going to stick this just down here. And the nice thing with the glue is it just gives me a little wriggly time just to move that about. Okay, and we're now going to flick this across. And the one thing we've not done is we've not really pushed this down. So I'm just going to doubly push down on that. And somewhere I have got, except I can't find it, here it is. Somewhere I've got my bone folder, because these really do need to be well folded down. Okay, and it needs to be well folded here. and then that will flip in, and we need to just make sure, let's just fold that out a minute whilst we bone folder right across those edges, because we want to be absolutely sure we've got them crisp and neat and tidy. And now here is our double fold card. There you go. And we now have you're the best, relax your way, I grew up loved. And I'm keeping them lovely and black and vanilla. I hope you like it, and I hope you'll come back in a few minutes' time on Saturday. Not a few minutes really, it's a few days' time. On Saturday, when I will be showing you how to make a triple step card. Thanks very much. Bye bye.